What to do, my fools? It's your homeboy Kyutwo in the house. Just trying to give a little update. Um, okay, before I get too deep in that, pause. Shouts out to all of you who have stuck with me all this time. I'm serious, because it's been a long time since I've really done something. Since I've done one of the projects that I've truly wanted to do, especially my boy Travis. You're awesome. Now, as far as what I'm going to do next, I'm not entirely sure. That's what this whole update's about, because I don't know what to do next. Why? Well, most of it is because of the whole COPPA situation that's been going on lately. If you guys aren't already aware, COPPA is a... Actually, I'm not quite sure what it is. Let's just say that there's going to be some new rules on YouTube. Basically, you are, or at least I am, at least I'm reminded every time I log in, I am legally obligated to say whether my channel is for kids or not. Why is this? It's because YouTube has been apparently collecting information on children and through their videos, algorithms or whatever, which apparently is illegal. And now YouTube's being punished for it. They've already had to pay a settlement fee, was over $1 million. So YouTube has to change their policies. They can no longer be trying to collect information on children. And now pretty much every other YouTuber has to comply with those rules. Now, honestly, that sounds fine to me. The problem is who determines what video is made for kids and what isn't made for kids. That's the problem. That was the whole situation that sparked before, because more than likely it's going to be left up to some kind of robot in the system that's going to scan videos, look for certain criteria like bright colors, certain characters, whether or not it's a video game, those kinds of things. And if the robot deems, oh, well, based on the content of this video, your video must be aimed at children. Therefore, we're going to flag you. And if your video does get flagged, apparently they can fine you up to $40,000 per video. So that's the thing. It's like, I know my stuff is not made for children. My stuff is never made for children. I was tasked with, a long time ago, right after college, when I was working for a company that wanted to make something that was geared towards little children. They told me to come up with an idea. Man, I had the hardest time because I don't think in terms of material created for little kids. My stuff is usually more based on what teenagers go through. At the very least, teenagers up to adults. I don't know what little kids want to see. Just by being a little kid myself, I mean, I was kind of watching adult stuff. I was kind of watching older audience stuff anyway when I was a kid. I know I saw Bad Boys when I was like, what? Well, actually, I think I was a little older than that. It was probably like 12, 13, 14, something like that. That's when I saw Bad Boys. But I know I was playing Mortal Kombat when I was 12. I know that for a fact. And I wasn't fazed by the extreme violence. I mean, honestly, I thought it was cartoony like Looney Tunes because it was unrealistic. But that's me. The whole problem that we have with COPPA is because we don't know what they intend, or what they think, or what we think they intend on flagging what is for kids and for not. Because I mean, we just don't know. That's the whole problem with, well, humanity in general, is because we can say what our intentions are, but to the third party, if they don't believe what our intentions are, they're just going to make their own assumption about what our intentions are and punish us based on what they think we intended. And that's the problem with COPPA. Just because I say my videos aren't made for kids, which they are not, that doesn't mean that they're just not going to flag me anyway. Now, yes, they did come out with another message saying that they understand that certain things, just because that it is something like a video game, bright colors or something like that, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's intended for kids. Therefore, they're going to look into every situation, objectively. But that doesn't mean that they're still going to be lenient towards what our intentions were for creating the video. People with power usually abuse that power. That's something that history has taught us since the beginning. With that in mind, basically I'm afraid that my channel's going to get hit. And obviously I can't pay that money. I can barely pay $100 a week. So it's like, what do I do here? I just don't know. I mean, I'm probably going to have to wind up taking a lot of my videos down just to stay under the radar. It's kind of messed up. Now, I think my Spirit Stars animation's okay. Because number one, Spirit Stars is not aimed for children. It never was. It was aimed for audiences 13 and older. I think that was portrayed very well in that animation because there were some sexual situations, language, and violence. So there you go. I mean, the Spirit Stars do have bright colors, but that doesn't mean that they're for kids. So in that regard, I don't know what to do. I was thinking the whole time, what should I play after Smash Brothers ended? If Smash Brothers has ended, I've defeated the World of Light. What I originally wanted to do was to go back through the World of Light with a Nuzlocke, like some kind of spirit Nuzlocke, where I was going, and if a spirit dies, then that spirit is dead, and I can't use that spirit. And if I run out of spirits, then game over. Can't play again. In that one, I wasn't going to apply that to the fighters. I can still use the fighters that I want. I just can't keep using the same spirits, which I think is how it should be played. But in regards, because I would have to start a new game. If I was going to do it if I was going to do it with fighter and spirits, then I would start a new game plus, where I have all fighters available. But the way I want to do it is through new game. So it wouldn't be a fighter Nuzlocke, it would just be a spirit Nuzlocke. But anyway, I'm trying to remember where I was going with this. And yeah, there's another problem I want to talk about. I don't know what to do after Smash. Because Smash Brothers, though violent as it is, we all know that it's all got bright, pretty colors, and it is something that kids do enjoy. The boy that lives with me has his own... No, he doesn't have his own copy of Smash. Actually, I take that back. He did have his own copy of Smash, I think. Actually, I can't remember now. I know that he had his own 3DS. Then he broke it within 3 weeks of receiving it for Christmas. He's got a Switch now. Kind of surprised that thing's not broken yet. But that's a whole other issue. But yeah, I know for a fact that Smash Brothers is a game that kids like, so it's concerning that Copa might go after channels that have Smash Brothers on it, regardless of what the uploader intended for its target audience to be. Which again, I say my target audience is for 13 and up. mostly because I'm trying to show how I think in these scenarios, because children don't really think when they play video games. They just play it haphazardly, believing that, pushing buttons randomly is fun. I was never that way. I was more like, I'm taking on a challenge and I need to beat it. That's my thing when playing video games. Ever since I was a kid, but that it's not like that today. But anyway, I'm afraid that they're going to hit me for the Smash content. They might hit me for the Yu-Gi-Oh content. Bright colors and kids enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh. It's kind of funny because Yu-Gi-Oh is actually, or at least I believe, is more played by adults, because they're the ones who understand the complicated rules of strategies way better than any child. You can see how I played the Yu-Gi-Oh! Damn it, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video when I played the double duel. I played that duel very fast, and I showed that to an adult. When I was hospitalized, I showed that to an adult who wanted my opinion on a video game that she wanted to get her kid, and I showed her the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video that I uploaded, saying if she wanted some Yu-Gi-Oh! But I was kind of going against it, because despite that he might like Yu-Gi-Oh! I was thinking that maybe he liked it because I liked Yu-Gi-Oh! For the whole complicated gameplay stuff. But when I thought about it, I was like, I think he likes Yu-Gi-Oh! More for the flashy animations. Because when I showed her actual Yu-Gi-Oh! How it's played, she was looking at how I was playing it in that video, and she's like, that looks way too complicated. And I was like, yeah. Despite the fact that I was playing it real fast, because I know all the rules already, I was like, okay, this is going to do this, this is going to do this, this is going to do this, so when this happens, this is going to do that, and da. And she was looking at me do all that, and I was like, yeah, that looks way complicated for a kid. Despite the fact that it's supposed to be intended for a kid. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played by adults. It feels more like an adult game because of how complicated it is. So, despite the fact I do have Yu-Gi-Oh! Content on my channel, so it's like, they could hit that. And it's like, ugh. The funny thing is that I don't really want to try to remove videos from my channel. What I want to do is to just kind of sit back and see what COPPA's going to do, how it's going to act, what channels are going to get hit. And based on that, let's see what I want to do with the rest of my content that I intend to upload. So with that in mind, I really don't know if I should follow up Smash with Smash. So I've been trying to think, what should I follow it up with? And I was thinking Portal 2. Because, well, number one, Portal is kind of a dark game in itself if you play the first Portal. Which I have, but I have never played the second Portal. But if it has the same take on it, then I would assume that Portal 2 is just as gritty and dark as the original Portal. Now, kids can play it. The problem is pretty much the content, the things that the characters are saying, rather dark. Something more along the lines of what teenagers to adults would appreciate. So I'm thinking Portal 2, Tomb Raider. I did want to do like Pokemon Sword and Shield, but bright colors intended for kids. It's like that. If I did that, it's gonna get hit so hard. The other thing is Luigi's Mansion, what I still think is a good enough gameplay to upload, but at the same time, it's like it's still Mario characters, so it's kind of risky. So That's where I'm at right now. Now that's what's a whole COPPA situation. I still don't know what to do. Now something else had come up that is also affecting my decision, but this is more of a good thing than a bad thing. I finally came up with a way to mocap in a 360 environment, basically. What I'm saying is that I have two Xbox Connects, and I'm using both of them as a way to motion capture myself and apply that to my models. Now what I'm doing right now is using one Connect, but using one Connect can only capture you in one direction, which means I won't be able to read what I'm doing behind me, which makes it very awkward when I try to turn around and stuff. If I get up right now and try to turn around, this is gonna happen. I'm literally standing with my back to the camera, but it can't read that. It cannot read my back to the camera. It can read my movements, like stepping back and forth, but it can't tell that I'm turned around. So when I first discovered this way of mocapping, I had to deal with that problem. And I guess I should explain why I've been trying to do this. It's because when I first started Puzzle War, 10 years ago, by the way, when I first started Puzzle War, when I was doing the little trailer animation, even though it was trailer. Although it was a pretty good trailer, and I still liked how it came out, though it could be a lot better. But I still like how it came out. But I made a realization after uploading that, because despite how it came out, it looked good, but could be better. It was intended to be much longer, pretty much the full length of the song that I chose to use for that trailer, which is about 2 minutes. I was only able to do 30 to a minute. But here's the problem. That took me 6 months to do. All the animation. And it's still not as good as I wanted it to be. It probably would have taken me it wouldn't take me a full year, because there's so much more animation in that one little trailer that I needed to do. Pretty much like Dragon Ball Z-ish fights. And I didn't even do that in that trailer, so that's gonna be a lot more drawing than I was doing regularly, which means that it would have taken over a year to complete that trailer. Probably 2 years. If that was just the trailer, how long would it have taken me to do one episode like that? And let me tell you, Puzzle War has at least 17 episodes. The first Puzzle War. Because there's 4 different Puzzle Wars in my mind. But I can tell you for certain that the first Puzzle War is about 17 episodes. The trailer would have taken over a year to do, probably 2 years. If I had continued doing Puzzle War the way I was doing 10 years ago, I'd probably just be on episode 3 or 4 right now. And that's working non-stop. So basically, when I did that trailer, I told myself I need a faster way of animating. Which meant I'm going to have to do computer animation. So pretty much all this time between that and now, I've been looking into other ways to animate. In order to be faster, of course, I could try to learn flash animation, because that's one thing that I could do. The thing is that I never learned it. Though I'm pretty sure it's not that hard to learn. but it's just not my style. I have a certain style that I want to do, which I can probably pull off with computer animation, but it's pretty much an anime-ish 2D style, but I think I could pull it off with 3D. That's what all these other tests and stuff that you've been seeing in these animations. This is a test that you're seeing now. But just recently, I finally discovered a way to be able to animate through mocap while turning around, and it actually captures most of my movement. It may not capture all of it, but let's say it's about 90% accurate, which is pretty damn good. In light of that, I only discovered this like within the past few months. I was nervous that it wouldn't work, so I've been putting off actually trying it out. But recently, I've actually tried it out, and it's working. So I am happy. That means I can actually start getting my stuff done quickly, so long as I build the models and backgrounds and stuff like that. And then once I get all that stuff ready, I could just be like, boom, 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 boom. So the problem is, I'd have to work on these models, backgrounds, music, and all this other stuff, which still takes time. Not as much time as doing it manually by hand, but it's drawing everything by hand. But it's still going to take time. So that's also affecting my decision of what I should do next, because what I want to do next is actually focus a lot harder on my animations. Also, I apologize for the background noise that you may hear. I had to say that almost every time. Anyway. So it's like, should I mean, I'll be totally honest here. What I'm most leaning towards is just leaving Monday blank. Like, no uploads to any gameplay. Maybe some updates or animations and stuff. But what I'm planning on doing for Monday is just like nothing. And I wanted to know if that was okay with you guys, or do you really need to see me upload some gameplay of something, or upload something? Me personally, now that I've have this opportunity to really animate something, I want to just kind of go all in. I still have Fire Emblem, and believe it or not, I've actually finished the whole. I finished the Black Eagles route. Like, I'm done. Despite that, I still don't have everything rendered, because it still takes a long time to get everything set up. So it's probably still going to take a while to upload it all. So it's probably still going to be a weekly upload thing, which means it's going to be uploading for over a year. My Black Eagles run, unless if I'm able to speed up the process, which I'm not entirely sure how. Because right now, the thing that takes the longest, or at least what takes up the most time, is actually just the loading of the video. Like, just trying to load it takes up the longest time. Well, not the longest time. What takes up the longest time is actually like getting the intro done, but it doesn't take that long. But what shuts me down the most is how this waiting constantly of the videos loading. But it's not as bad as it was with not Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild. It's not as bad as Breath of the Wild, which I still do have, but man, that takes a long time. That takes several days. At least the renders on Fire Emblem take several hours, and it can go over 1 day, but it doesn't go over 2 days. But Breath of the Wild, like, will easily go over 2 days to render. So anyway, lost my train of thought, but that's pretty much normal for me. I want to I think what I want to do is just focus mainly on my animations, and I have several animations in mind. Trying to think about what Spirit Stars thing I wanted to do, but I think I finally came up with the idea because there's one that I wanted to do ever since my first time in college. Well, the Art Institute. The first time I was at the Art Institute, there's one animation, Spirit Stars animation I wanted to do, which it was using the music from the Pyramid Cave in Sonic Adventure 2. I never was able to actually do that, but now that I have this available to me, I think I want to go ahead and go do that. Mostly because it was intended to be a demo reel that I wanted to do. It has game music that I particularly love. It's one of my favorite game musics. And I don't think I can get copyright strike for that music. I don't think so. It's Spirit Stars. It has dancing in it. It has action in it. And something that I more recently considered, even though I did consider it before, which is the whole reason why I created Q*bert in the first place. It doesn't make the Spirit Stars look overpowered and broken. Which is a concern that I had ever since I created the Spirit Stars. But in certain ideas that I've had, I've been thinking, it's like, I think I'm making the Spirit Stars a little too overpowered. Not to say that okay, what I mean is when the Spirit Stars fight, they have either too many advantages, or they come out on top too easily. They need somebody to be able to stand with them and take them down a notch when I need them to. And that's really the whole creation behind the character Q*bert, which is named after the video game character Q*bert, because I kept thinking about it, naming him after that character, and I just kept laughing. And I could never think of anything better. So Q*bert is the Spirit Stars bodyguard, but his role in the series is to be that thing that keeps the Spirit Stars in check. I was just recently looking at one of my animatics, which I should go ahead and show it. I was recently looking at one of my animatics where the Spirit Stars are fighting the Zingers. Now, the reason why I'm not doing this animation, even though I really want to do this one, but you can't use OC Remix music, which is bullshit, because OC Remix music is still music that is made by somebody else. They just remixed it. It's bullshit that they can copyright music that doesn't belong to them. They're just remixing it. Even if you do create your own arrangement of a song, it's still that other person's song. I mean, I've seen YouTube videos get taken down just for that. You can't make your own arrangement and claim copyright for it. So I don't know how OC Remix is getting away with that, but either way, now that OC Remix has got their stuff copyrighted, you can't put OC Remix music in your videos. But since that is an that was going to use OC Remix music, I can't monetize that video. I can still make it and upload it. I just can't monetize it. And whatever I make with the Spirit Stars, I do want to monetize. I could probably get away with the Pyramid Cave music, and it's more symbolic in that way. But the point about the Zinger fight is that the girls are beating up the Zingers like it's like nothing. And as I was recently looking at it, I was like, I think I'm making the Spirit Stars a little OP. Now, in that regard, I could easily go for the other song that I wanted to do, was the K. Rool OC remix music, in which K. Rool is actually beating up the Spirit Stars, which balances out a little better. And I really like how terrifying that music sounds. But Again, OC remix music. So I may just go with the Pyramid Cave idea. That's one idea that I was thinking about doing, Puzzle War. I kind of feel like coming back to that. Now here's one thing that I've been wanting to do ever since I beat Detective Pikachu. It's a story idea. Well, okay. Number one, I've always been wanting to do an animation where Princess Peach is the main character for the longest time, pretty much ever since I was a kid, but in more recent years, I've been wanting to do something that more reflects her life so that people can understand that Princess Peach is more than what people normally think about her. That is, if you actually play the games that she's in. I had one idea that kind of, well, it didn't flop. It's just that idea that I had probably isn't going to be as interesting because it's pretty much like just about Princess Peach living her life over and over and over again. I had another idea, which was called Bowser Mind. This was an idea in which Bowser actually captures Princess Peach, switches minds with her, and then goes to rule the Mushroom Kingdom in her place. While as he's doing that, he sets up the Mushroom Kingdom for an attack, in which, of course, they will inevitably fail once he has his army counterattack. And then, as Princess Peach, he's going to surrender the Mushroom Kingdom to the Koopa Kingdom. Which I thought was a brilliant idea because while he's in Peach's body, he's going to be like living through what Princess Peach goes through, and people will be able to see Princess Peach's life through Bowser's perspective. Which I thought, dude, this is a great idea. I love it. I want to start working on this. And then about a year later, Bowsette became a thing. I can't blame the internet for that because the Super Crown, if you create an item that turns people into Princess Peach, how do you think people are going to react to that? So I can't blame the internet. I have to blame Nintendo for that. So, that whole idea of Bowser Mind is not going to work. Why? Because Bowser being in Princess Peach's body is now a joke. If that never happened, Bowser Mind would have been taken a lot more seriously. Not to mention, if I try that, people are just going to be like, well, why didn't you just use Bowsette? I mean, he's got a Super Crown. I mean, why go through all that trouble? Not to mention, oh, we're just taking the idea from Bowsette, Kyutwo. I mean, you're not being original. You're just being, uncreative and all that stuff. And it's like, So that literally killed my whole idea. Now, I did come up with a different idea of Princess Peach versus Bowsette, in which it was just going to be a fight. And I actually do have an animatic for this. It's Peach versus Bowsette. I had started this animatic in October, and it took me the whole month to get as far as I am now with this animatic. And I still like this idea, but it's really just a shallow fight between the two characters, Princess Peach and Bowsette. And it's just to show off Princess Peach's powers in comparison to Bowsette, who is still using kind of some of Bowser's powers. So it's going to be like a bunch of references and stuff like that. But anyway, the point of Peach versus Bowsette was to try to gain some kind of control over the whole Bowsette meme that pretty much killed my story idea. What I plan to do was actually create Peachzer, but it's gonna be like Princess Peach in Bowser's body. So I just had this idea of pretty much taking Bowsette and reversing it. But even so, doing that is still not really taking control of the meme. It's just me being pissed about the meme and trying to reverse it and get people to look at my idea, but at the same time, it's not really anything truly original. But yeah, that whole thing just, it's like I still like the idea. I like the animation, the references, the jokes, and everything. And the best part about it is that it's only going to be like a 10-minute video. But the problem is that there's going to be so much animation involved in it that it probably would still take a long time, even with mocap. And it's one of the things that's like, I'm not sure if it's really wise to put that much time in that. I mean, then again, people would probably just watch it just for the fact that it's a Mario-based animation, which is kind of a sad thing, actually. Because they kind of ignore the message behind the animation, and they just be like, "Oh, look, somebody made a fan animation," and they just instantly click that like button just based on that, which I don't really want. I want people to look at the substance behind my animations. But even so, Peach versus Bowsette doesn't really have much message behind it. It's really just a pissed off animator. But anyway, that's that animation. Now, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before. I had an idea called Who Killed Mario? And this is an idea that I came up with after completing Detective Pikachu, because that's how my mind works. My mind just can't turn itself off. So, I really, really wanted to work on this idea, and to be honest, I still do. To the point where I think I'm actually going to show you a little bit of what I did do with this project. Okay, so what you should be seeing now is my script that I wrote, well, started writing for Who Killed Mario. This is Who Killed Mario by Kyutwo. This is one of my drafts, and it's not the right file. This is one of my drafts, but it's not the right file. Okay, hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, I think this is the right file. This should be the right file because I do remember writing out the first couple of scenes. Before I go that in depth into it, let me. I can't remember how to do this. I know there's a way to get the word count. Insert. Word R, drop tab. Man, I just can't remember. Okay, here we go. Review word count. Words. You can see the number of pages that are on this script. 65. I'm telling you right now, I'm not even halfway done. I am not halfway done. Words, 20,000. Characters, this and that. Paragraphs, almost 1,000 lines, 2,000 plus. Like, I'm not even halfway done with this script. But I've been working on this for the past 6 months. So here we are. I'm going to show you guys the opening. Pretty much, Princess Peach is a jail cell. The prison is entirely encased, complete darkness until the opening of the door. With the crackling light, it illuminates the center. It spreads outward. The disconsolate Princess Peach sits slumped as still as a corpse in her prison, having wept herself dry. Footsteps echo louder and louder towards the prison bars, locking up Princess Peach. When they already Already seeing mistakes in my goddamn script. When they reached the bars, there was a sound of a door being unlocked, yet Princess Peach makes no reaction until she hears the sounds of the person's voice. Police tell Princess Peach it's time. Princess Peach barely looks up at the seated mushroom citizen clad in a prison guard outfit, waiting for her to come out of her cell. Basically, he's going to get Princess Peach for her trial. Princess Peach walks up to the courthouse, people stabbing pictures, stuff like that. So it's typical celebrities going to their trials, going to their criminal court cases and stuff like that. Here's Princess Peach's trial. This is a made up character, a mushroom lady called Majority. It's literally based off the word majority, but this is her name, Majority. And she is the prosecutor in the case, and she is going to be a character that shows up a few times in the story. Now, before I get too in depth in this, let me go ahead and tell you that there are at least 2 made-up characters in this series. In this story, probably 3 if I decide to add 1 character in. That does not necessarily mean that they're the ones who killed Mario, because this is supposed to be a murder mystery. But don't just assume that I made some made-up characters that they're the ones that killed Mario. These made-up characters are not necessary, but they are characters that I wanted to create in my story of the Mushroom Kingdom. So I'm kind of putting them in there because these are more iconic characters for a specific reason in the stories that I want to create. That doesn't mean that they are the one. That doesn't mean that they are the ones responsible for Mario's death. So don't just assume that I used a made-up character. What you guys should be thinking about is who among the main cast of Mario characters killed Mario, because that's where I'm going with it. And so, precisely 2 months ago, the defendant held her annual public banquet as planned. This is Majority giving her closing arguments. From there, she waited until the time and the victim had her dinner scheduled. That time came, she alone prepared dinner for the 2 of them. She then brought the same dinner to the victim's table, where he then drank the poison cup and met his end. Though the poison has yet to be identified, there is no questioning its potency. Lab tests show that there was enough poison to kill someone 3 times over. After all, there was about 100 witnesses who saw it happen in gruesome detail. It's clear that whoever intended to kill the victim had malicious intent. It was no accident. The facts are simple. The victim was poisoned to death by his own drink. The only person prepared his drink, and the only one person serving that same drink. Only one person prepared his drink, and only one person served him that same drink, and both persons are one and the same. The guilty party sits among us, and she is none other than our own I didn't put our own. Should I put our own? Then our resident sovereign ruler, implicating Princess Peach. This part's kind of important for the character of Majority, so let me go ahead and read this part. The prosecutor observes Peach for several moments, waiting for a reaction from her, but Peach makes no reaction at all. Eventually, the prosecutor huffs as she faces away from Princess Peach before walking off. And just walks off. Remember, that's a mushroom. That's very important. That's a female mushroom. Now, this is Peach's defense attorney. Let's not forget the reason why Mario wanted to have dinner with his client in the first place. He invited all of his friends, family to come to the banquet to see his big announcement for the princess, and what it was his announcement he was planning on proposing to her that very night. The proof was found in the victim's body, which they found an engagement ring for Mario from Mario's corpse. My client suspected that My client suspected that he was about to pop the question. His client being Princess Peach. It explains why those witnesses the prosecutor is so fond of all testified to seeing Princess Peach as being the happiest she's ever been on the night in question. Peach had no reason to kill Mario. She thought she was getting married. Why on earth if she killed a man she would believe to be married? There's just no way. The murder weapon isn't even accounted for. They have not found the murder. Well, they know that he was poisoned, but they have not found the source of the poison. The source of the poison that took the hero's life, the police couldn't find it anywhere, and Peach has been in police custody since the incident. That's very important. Even before, Peach was only serving food to her for people the entire day. She had no way to hide the poison, but pretty much Princess Peach was busy all day, and witnesses saw how busy she was because she was serving people all day. She had no way to hide the poison, and there was no trace of it found on her. The only conclusion that someone else had removed the poison, therefore someone else is responsible for this heinous crime. Princess Peach is not the murderer. Now, this is the same judge from the Super Mario Sunshine court case. Will the defendant please take the stand? Let me begin by saying, though I did not wish to be the judge in these proceedings, I feel honored to be the judge appointed. Perhaps it is fitted, blessing me on the stars, that this is not my first trial with the defendant. In fact, I first met her back on home island before Peach Beach was established. So this is kind of important here, because how did Peach Beach get established on an island that Princess Peach does not own? Because Peach Beach is on Al Defino. Peach doesn't own Al Defino. I feel like that's something that I should show in one of my Princess Peach theory videos that I was going to call "The Truth Behind Peach," but I still might do. I can still get away with that now. In the past trial, she was the defending attorney, and her client happens to be the victim in this case. So yeah, Princess Peach was defending Mario back in Super Mario Sunshine. The old case accused the Mushroom Hero simply because the suspect looks like him. Had my people done even a remotely thorough investigation, we would have realized that the defendant hadn't even arrived on the island to be able to commit the crime, which is important because the opening cutscene in Sunshine, you can see Shadow Mario in the background of the video that Princess Peach, Mario, and Toads were watching. Mario wasn't even on the island yet. So had they even seen Mario arrive on the plane, they would have known that Mario wasn't the guilty party. Anyway, facts are what matter now. So what are the facts in this case? Basically, she finds Princess Peach innocent. Let's just skip all that. The judge bangs the gavel, and Princess Peach friends cheer for her, but Peach herself is still unmoved by anything that goes on. It does not take long for an opposition to rise in the audience, which is the anti-Peach Toad. Are you kidding me? No motive. You don't need a motive to kill somebody. You're just playing favorites. Of course, she killed Mario. It's nothing like that. There's pro-Peach Toad. What's wrong with you? Peach is a say she would never kill someone, and the judge is trying to create order in the court. But Princess Peach being found innocent, though being the prime suspect in this case, creates such a controversy and riot in the whole Mushroom Kingdom that mushrooms start getting violent. I don't want to go past this part right here, but I do want to show that the next scene is Mario's grave. When lightning flashes around Peach as she stands over Mario's grave, her expression is still unchanged while her friends watch her grieve. Toadsworth holds an umbrella over Peach's head to protect her from the heavy rain. It doesn't take long for Peach to tear up and cry before bawling over Mario's final resting place. Some Mushroom Kingdom citizens watch Peach from a safe distance. Peach continues to cry her soul out. So in case you can't figure it out from this, Princess Peach is going to be determined to find out who truly killed Mario. After all, she has the incentive because she is prime suspect number one, and she wants to try to bring harmony back to her people, but the only way for her to do that is to find the person who truly killed Mario. So I do have it all planned out. I just don't know how cool it's going to be, but I have it all planned out, and that's as far as I want to go with that. Okay, so that's who killed Mario. Another idea that I've been wanting to do, and is probably what I'll probably work on the most, is an idea that was more or less based on a it's based on a idea that I had, and that idea is based on my own depression, my own personal problems, which I did start writing out. I guess I could try showing that off. Okay, now I should be okay. So So this is a story that I was thinking about, which is more or less a story writing about my own depression, which I've been having to deal with thanks to all this bullcrap. But it's a story that I came up with called Waifu Sphere. And it's pretty much a story about me and all of my waifu characters. Just doing whatever, but it's basically a story that conveys and talks about my own depression, what things, the problems I have, stuff like that. I mean, it's sad for me thinking about it because I'm pretty much exposing myself here, but as you can see, different waifu, Peach, Gardevoir. Yeah, Gardevoir. Jean Grey, Android 21, Lucamine. There's real characters I love. Mami from Madoka. And Kiyone, definitely. Alex, this is Alex from Totally Spies, believe it or not. Not that I'm saying that Totally Spies was a great show or anything like that, but it was, well, I had to choose between Totally Spies and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Yeah, that's how bad Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is. Starlight, you can... Oh, Starlight. You know where she's from. There's her name, Starlight Glimmer. Peach, Luna. This is Luna. This, I know I just got done saying, oh, Starlight, but no. This Luna here, this Luna is actually from the Boondocks. And you can see here by the way she's talking right here. It's like, are you trying to get me killed? Even if I wanted to go back, which I don't, the only thing waiting for me is an explosion. Is that what you want, Peach? You trying to blow me up? Which I kind of feel like that's how Luna would talk. And she's actually talking about how she died in the Boondocks right here. Because she does die from an explosion, her own grenade. And here's Q2 finally showing up. Android 21 comes in. There's also another character that's mentioned here. She's not in the scene, but she's mentioned, but... yeah. So... Zelda Twilight Princess. I knew I was going to miss someone. And this is Kyubey. Kyubey, not a waifu. This is Kyubey, the character from Madoka. He's here. He's pretty much here to take away all of Q2's waifu by promising them a wish. Now, you just saw Mommy. Mommy's gone. Mommy escorted Q2 back to the hospital wing where he was resting, and that's because the Phoenix had woken up. The reason why Q2's in the hospital is because the Phoenix had woken up. The opening was Jean Grey apologizing to everybody, and Android 21, she feels like that she's found a kindred spirit in Jean Grey, because they are both overpowered characters that really don't mean to hurt anyone, while at the same time they can't control the power that they possess. Sometimes it just takes them over, body and soul. But yeah, there's a story about a Q2 dealing with his own depression by taking a bunch of waifus from various material and and bring them together. So I still wanted to kind of do this, but the problem is that everything here is copyrighted by something else, all the way down to the character Q2 himself, because this is the Mewtwo variant. I have since then come up with a different idea, and I guess I have Copa to thank for that, because Kappa, and YouTube itself because of whole copyright BS and my mind not being able to stop thinking, I've come up with a different idea now, which is more or less the same as Waifu Sphere, but done differently with more original characters, and I use original in quotations. This idea, originally called Bishijo Eijo, which I think is Japanese, for beautiful girl English language. And in that regard, I'm trying to say that I took the letters from the English language and turned them into waifu. So this isn't like I'm saying I created all these waifu and then I gave them a letter to name them. No, I took the actual letters in the English language and turned them into beautiful waifu and then married them. But right now the working title is Useless Q, which I'm still more accustomed to. So basically the story is that Kyutwo took the letters of the English alphabet and turned them all into waifu, gave them all certain characteristics, powers, and even backstories. I've already started designing some of the characters. Let me pull some up real quick. I'll pull up my most recent one. Great. I think I just accidentally clicked off. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. It should still be on here. Why did it? It didn't save. Okay, fine. It didn't say fine, be that way. Actually, I can do it from here. Before I show that, let me turn this off. And there should be a layer somewhere here. Yeah, there we go. Actually, I can do it this way. You can see right here. This is the character I was designing as of yesterday. Like maybe 10 hours ago. Actually, I was kind of doing this all day yesterday. But this is P. Believe it or not, this is P. The letter P. As a waifu. The P is, well, I guess basically it's for princess. So I'm trying to create a princess character. At the same time, I decided, I'll give her some powers and stuff. But she's actually I kind of made up her being. I don't know if I should go deeply into that, because I kind of want to keep this to myself until I actually start. But you guys can see I'm creating original characters, and I use that in quotations because if you look closely, I think you can kind of recognize the character. But yeah, Princess P, which I'm going to make it that characters do call her Princess P-chan. But it's Princess, then the letter P, and then Chan, the honorific in Japanese, which doesn't make sense because the honorific for princess in Japanese is Hime. So her name should be P Hime. But everybody calls her Princess P-chan, and she hates it because it doesn't make sense. It's like, it's hearing that is like trying to honor the Japanese honorifics by saying Chan, but you ignore the fact that she is a princess and that Japan does have a honorific for princess. say you use the English honorific or English title for princess, and then add on Chan, an honorific from Japan, and then put it to her name, and she hates it. So people call her Princess P-chan, but she's like, no, you either call me P-hime, P-chan, or Princess P, but not Princess P-chan. That doesn't make sense. So that's one character. I guess I can pull up the other. I've only gotten to 3 so far. Oh, jeez. I say that because it's like, for some reason, certain categories don't ever show up when they should be. Ooh, I definitely have to edit that. Ah! Damn it. Why did that pull up over there? Oh, that's why it pulled up over there. Why did it pull up over there? That's supposed. Anyway, I had to cut that part out. But here's what I wanted to show. This is, well, I'm going to redesign this, but this is A, the letter A. Yeah, I feel like I should redesign that. And hopefully the letter B won't be. Come on. Come on. Alright, let's see where you're going, letter B. That stupid. Well, it pulled up. Not the way I wanted it to, but it pulled up. Ah, jeez. Well, I can show this much at least. This is the letter B, but again, it's like, I feel like I should be redesigning some of these. I mean, letter P, I think is pretty good, but the letter A and the letter B, I think I need to be redesigning a little bit, because they don't. I mean, they look all right, but I want to make them look a little more iconic, I guess. They just look kind of ordinary. So that's where I'm going with that. The story of Useless Q is going to be more reflectant. It's still going to be reflected on my own depression, but at the same time, it's going to be like I'm going to cough. The story of letter Q. Oh, sorry, not letter Q. The story of Useless Q is still going to be more or less based on my own depression and my own thoughts and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's also going to reflect my own thoughts on basically YouTube itself. Because the setting of the story is going to take place on the internet, specifically YouTube itself, or a parody of YouTube. And one of the main issues is copyright itself, because one of the main issues of YouTube is copyright. For instance, I can't use more than 30 seconds of alien conflict because someone copyrighted it, apparently, which is funny because the person who copyrighted it isn't the person who created it. It's someone completely different. who I assume has absolutely nothing to do with alien conflict. So, yeah. Let's see, useless Q. Also, what I'll do is that, like I said, each character has their own backstory. Being like, A is actually a outer space police woman. B is it's gonna be like a spy, like a secret agent, or at the very least an army woman. C is a cosplayer. D is a D is a cowgirl. I should mention this now because I'm not basing the letters on any letters that start with that letter, or any words that start with that letter, unless if you can kind of guess what I'm doing with it. I kind of guess what I'm doing with it, unless you can kind of try to make a word work with that letter. But the reason why is mostly because of the possible poses the women can make as they're try to excuse me. These women are based on the shape that they can make with the letter. So basically, an A, the way she makes it is that she stands with her legs at the sides and then folds her arm like this to make the cross in the A. So I imagine a person posing like that, and then I think, what could that occupation be? And when I thought about A, I was always thinking about the pose that Cammy White makes in Street Fighter that she wins, when she stands with her back towards the camera. All she has to do is to hold her arms across like that, and she'd make the letter A. So based on the pose, that's what the person's occupation and or background is going to be. It's going to be based on how they make the shape, not necessarily not necessarily a word that has that letter in the beginning of the word. So based on that, that's why A is a police officer, B is a spy, but this is mostly because you can't really make a letter B as a human, so unless if you use the breasts and the butt, because then you can use the breasts sideways, you do sideways and have the breasts make up the B part, or the butt make up that part. Not to mention that both of them begin with the letter B. And I did take that into consideration, so I did actually make B-chan here pretty busty. But, and I guess I do mean but, occupation wise, I really wanted her to be like a secret agent or something. C, a cosplayer. D, a cowgirl. This is mostly because she'll have a whip, and as she stands still, she can have the whip go around, or I guess I should say go around and form the D. E, believe it or not, is an alien. A certain kind of alien already in fiction, but I'm going to change it up to where it's more original. F is just an she's a teacher, office woman, activist. But this reason is because there's only one real way to make the letter F, which isn't really very specific towards anything, which is by dabbing. I mean, I could just make her be like some kind of cool rebel. I don't know, maybe I should, but I'm too focused, another F word, making her a teacher, activist for freedom, feminism, and just kind of make her a real brash person. Now, G is both a gyaru, which is Gyaru, and a gamer. And believe it or not, it's like, no, it actually is based on the shape of the letter G, which could easily be a person sitting with their arms sitting on the ground on their butt with their arms out at front, which is the pose of a gamer. So I actually can make G a gamer and make it still fit the the shape of the letter G. H, I still kind of having trouble with, but the only real thing I can think of is somebody like with their arms up like this and their legs to the side, which makes me think about the soccer goalie pose. So I kind of want to make H be a sports person. I, which really you could just have anybody there because I is just a person standing up straight. And decided to make her like a genius. J, which I've been like going back and forth with, I kind of decided on making her a genie because the genie will have that little tail, little genie tail, and I can easily make a J. I can easily make a J off that. K, I'm thinking of making a cheerleader because you can either stand up straight and have the K and do the K pose like that. L, there's no real way to make an L other than just sitting down. So I wanted to make something more unique, and at the same time, there is a history of the letters that is also incorporated into the character's backstory and stuff like that. The letter L is actually based off of a hook. So, I mean, oddly enough, I was doing this anyway. Then I discovered that it was a hook based off of a hook, and I was like, oh, so it actually works. But the letter L is going to have a weapon, which is pretty much a death scythe. So there's that. M is a pirate. You'll understand when I get to the next letter why I did that. But the letter M is a pirate. It doesn't make sense at first. In fact, it really did make sense. But the letter M is a pirate. But when you think about what the letter M represents, or at least what the letter M is based off of, believe it or not, it's actually the waves of water. Because the wave of water goes up and then down and then up and then down, which makes the letter M. So the letter M is basically made for water, which by coincidence makes sense for the letter M to be a pirate. As for N, I want to make her a ninja. But not necessarily because, the letter N's for ninja, but mostly because so how to make the letter N, I kind of want to have it like you're running with your arms like this to make the letter N. I don't really know if I'm doing it very well here, but I think you got to get the message. So when a person runs, they kind of make that letter N as they run like that. But it's kind of ironic because we all know how in fiction ninjas run. Particularly another N-word ninja named Naruto. But yeah. Oh! I'm actually thinking of making her like an Egyptian singer. Some Cleopatra kind of a thing. I mean, I'm still kind of working on O. And I'm trying to remember what the letter O is based off of. I think it's based off of the mouth for the origin of the letter O. The human mouth. Letter P stands for princess, stuff like that. I can't remember what the letter P was based off of. I'll never forget the letter Q. As I was coming up with stuff for the letter Q, waifu. Actually, I came up with some other stuff way earlier for the letter Q. But when I looked up its origin, it's like, well, I'm never going to forget this. Believe it or not, you know what the letter Q is based off of? Monkey. The letter Q is based off of monkey, so as a black person, imagine how that feels. But at the same time, it's like, I can't really be too mad at that because it's I think it's Egyptian. I think its origin comes from Egypt. I could be wrong, but I have the stuff to correct myself. But the letter Q, basically that's why it has a tail like that. but based off of monkey. And when you think about primates in general, they're not all that dumb. So, I mean, we did evolve from primates ourselves. I don't think monkeys did. And I don't think that we are directly related to the monkey, but we are related in such, but being primates. So, the letter Q is based off of monkey. And there's R, which I'm not entirely, I can't remember what R was based off of. But I know what I want to make it. I want to make R a maid and a robot. The letter S, probably one of my more interesting letters. She's going to be a sorceress slash witch, shapeshifter. Well, I wanted her to originally be a shapeshifter so she would change to a snake, but after coming up with her backstory, she's probably the one character that's got the biggest backstory right now, the letter S. T, I want to make the letter T be like a martial arts expert. Also, because of the fact that one easy way to make the letter T, I mean, obviously, yeah, you stand with your arms at your side like that. But what if I pulled one of her legs up? See, then she'd be doing the Karate Kid pose if she did that. If you're looking straight on, you have to be looking straight on, and she puts up her leg, then she'd be doing Karate Kid, and that is specific to martial arts. So I'll make T be based on martial arts. U, I don't want to spoil. The letter U, I don't want to spoil. Letter V, based on devil, evil, demon, Elvira. Lust, the character from Full Metal Alchemist. Can't remember what the letter V was based off of. W is literally based off of U, the letter U. W will be a monk, priestess kind of character. Letter X, sexy fox girl. Letter Y, which I did have a very long time coming up with, but at the very least I think I like what I came up with. A dog girl. Because the letter Y will have her ears like this and the big bushy tail coming out the bottom. You know, kind of like this one. If I can mocap that, see, this is why. I should be able to just lift my backside up and you should see the tail because I saw it before. Yeah, see, there you go. Like that tail. I don't messed up the whole mocap. Hold on. Try to get this thing to read a little better. And I don't think that works because I'm lower than I was before. What if I sat on a chair? Did that work? Yeah, that worked. I've had enough experience with this thing to try to make it work sometimes. Okay, so that's the letter Y. The letter Z. You guys know the Chinese zombie? The Chinese zombie? Specifically the Chinese zombie. Because basically Sinko from Darkstalkers. That's not what I think about when I think about the letter Z. Because the way she kind of bends with her arms out like this kind of forms the letter Z. Like I said, it's more based on the pose rather than the letter itself. So, yeah. Chinese zombie. And that's all the letters. So, as you can see, I have put a lot of thought in this. And I still say that it's a very stupid idea. But it's one that I still kind of want to do. So, that's where I am right now. So what do? I don't know. I'm actually more tempted to just not upload anything, but I really do want your guys' opinions. Specifically, if you want to see me upload something or try to upload something, I do really want to do Portal, but I'm kind of leaning towards Luigi's Mansion as well. But I have to go buy it because I don't have it yet. Also, was thinking about doing Super Mario Maker 2, which I do have. Just haven't started playing it yet because I've been so busy. But that's where I am now. I have a chance to really focus on some animation, which is what I really want to do. But I don't have I need time to do it. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. So I look forward to your comments down below. Hopefully I can reach a decision. Yeah, I guess that's all I can really say. Alright then. So, I guess I'll end this video now. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, or at the very least, if you have any ideas of what you want to see me do, other than Fire Emblem, because I do still plan to upload Fire Emblem, but if you want to see anything else from me, anything specifically, please leave it down in the comments so that I would know. Me personally, what I want to do the most is just not upload anything else except Fire Emblem and use the remaining time to work on my animations. That's what I'm leaning towards the most. But other than that, maybe Portal 2 or Luigi's Mansion. That's where my thoughts are. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I don't know the next time when I'll see you guys. But until then, take care of yourselves. Please take care of yourselves, because every day is like I see more and more death. But take care of yourselves and have a very good night. Peace!